Artificial Human number 17 and Goku have gone toe-to-toe in having to fight each other to now having to work together in order to fight off a common enemy as unknown space invaders appear, in which threaten 17's forest alongside the entire planet, as Goku and number 17 formulate a united front as they battle together in order to prevent the space invaders from further causing any damage onto the planet, as for the first time we see Goku and Artificial Human number 17 on the same page in having to work together to fight off a common enemy. What's going on, Dragon Ball fans? Welcome to my Dragon Ball Super episode 87 breakdown review entitled Hunt the Poachers, Goku and number 17's United Front, leading into next week's exciting episode of Dragon Ball Super episode 88 starring Gohan and Piccolo. Gohan having to finally receive training from Piccolo, proper training in order for Gohan to get stronger. And of course, if you guys have missed out my previous Dragon Ball Super spoilers, you guys might want to go on ahead and check those spoilers out to find out all the information that pertains to Dragon Ball Super episode 88 to 92. So a quick plug before we begin, in case you guys are not following me at Twitter, be sure to go on ahead and head over to UnrealEntGaming on Twitter and hit that follow button. That way you guys are always in the loop with all the latest in Dragon Ball news, information, and content. And don't forget to go on ahead and subscribe to the channel in case you guys are new for all the latest in Dragon Ball reviews, discussions, mod battles, and more. Tons of awesome content on the channel. And if you guys want to go on ahead and keep up with all the latest content, go on ahead and turn on notifications if you guys want to become a Super Saiyan God. It greatly means a lot to me that you guys support the channel, and I thank you guys for tuning into the video. Now, Dragon Ball Super episode 87 is now officially in the history books, with Dragon Ball Super episode 88 having to showcase a very intense battle between both Gohan and Piccolo. Now, the one thing I do want to talk about here is if you guys paid attention and you noticed within the preview, when Gohan is training with Piccolo, he finally has one of his hair strains back where it used to be when he was in his ultimate form. So that ultimately tells us that indeed Ultimate Gohan will be returning, as Gohan is getting prepped into shape by Piccolo, and this right here showcases Super Saiyan Gohan versus Piccolo at his max power. Now, in case some of you guys are wondering if Gohan is going to get a quote-unquote new form, none of that has ever been confirmed nor stated by Shueisha, Toriyama, or Toei Animation, because so far the only thing we do know of as of right now is the fact that Gohan will unlock and go back to his original ultimate form, in which he will now be stronger than he ever was before, which also tells us that Piccolo and Gohan will be training for about 30 plus hours, because Piccolo had promised Goku that he's going to be training Gohan every single day, every single moment, up until the very day of the Tournament of Power. So this just goes to show that Gohan will be in intense training with Piccolo. We see how Gohan utilizes Super Saiyan against Piccolo, and we see how Piccolo uses the after image technique. We see little glimpses of Masenkos and special beam cannons and Kamehamehas, and we see how Gohan is getting pushed, and Gohan is getting pushed to his breaking point because we see him tired, we see him exhausted, even to the point where Goku's there as well. So I just love the overall feel of having to see Piccolo really push Gohan, because this is what Gohan really needed to unlock his potential and having to become better than how he ever was before. So with that episode preview, we finally have an entire episode dedicated to Gohan training with Piccolo, the original going back to Dragon Ball Z. Now, Dragon Ball Super episode 87 showcased the overall gathering of 17 and Goku having to recruit him onto the Tournament of Power. Now, one thing I do want to point out here and do a breakdown on is the fact that there were several things mentioned in this episode, such as Goku mentioning Boo being at the tournament, with 17 having to say, "Boo, you mean that guy that beat Genki Dama?" And in which Goku says it's a long story. So it looks like 17 also remembers the incident with Goku and Kid Buu back when Goku was trying to gather energy to formulate the Spirit Bomb or the Genki Dama in destroying and vanquishing Kid Buu. So it looks like 17 has heard and knows about Buu, and now this episode confirms that indeed 17 is interested in seeing how this plays off, because we do understand based on that 17 does know of Buu. Now, another thing that was confirmed is knowing the fact that 17 has confirmed as to what he would use the Super Dragon Balls for, and wishing for a big boat in order to go on ahead and take his family out to a cruise. So that is 17's motivation in this episode. If he does win, and if he does gather all the Dragon Balls for himself, he wants to go on ahead and make the wish so he can go on ahead and take his family out all around the world. Now, this episode primarily focused on a group of alien poachers that originally wanted to steal the animals of the earth to go ahead and sell to other planets for higher bidders, such as one of the Minotaurs, as we saw in this episode, in which when I saw it first get taken and be brought up by the Space Invader, he said that the Minotaur was worth a lot of money. So I kind of thought of that as like this legendary like Pokemon like character, you know, like just one of those legendary creatures in which the aliens came here to take and sell for a higher bidder. But nonetheless, there were certain things of this episode that I did not enjoy, such as having to see this alien kind of threaten to blow himself up, with 17 having to tell Goku, I want you to go ahead and take care of 18, take care of my family, and take care of the island, which was weird because I get that 17 was trying to sacrifice himself ultimately for the better good, but having an explosion of that kind of magnitude destroy 17, it didn't make any sense to me. And plus, when 17 grabbed onto the Space Invader and threw him out of the glass window from the spaceship, they were kind of floating in space a little bit, and we get to see how Goku gets pulled back into space as he transforms into a Super Saiyan Blue and instant transmits both the Space Invader and 17 to King Kai's planet. Now, one thing that I loved about this episode was the idea that the only reason why Goku brought the Space Invader to King Kai's world was because he said, listen, there's this guy, he wants to blow himself up, so I just thought I'd bring him here, in which King Kai went absolutely apeshit about, because King Kai is asking, why are you gonna bring someone here if they're planning on blowing themselves up? That doesn't make any sense. It's like, it's almost as if they want to go ahead and tease the idea that King Kai is that person that you need to send people to, especially if they threaten to kill themselves via explosion. And King Kai even said, you know, I'm already dead, if I die again, I'll be non-existent, which again points out the idea that King Kai can't die, and if you die again while you're dead, you're not going to be existing anymore. So it's pretty cool to see how 17 had a prominent role in this entire episode. When you look at it, it's pretty much getting 17 to trust Goku and joining the team, in which by the end of this episode, he does in fact do. So there's not much to this episode other than the idea of Goku having to help 17 and 17 having to see how much courage Goku had to help him and having to save the animals, and Jocko towards the very end having to congratulate both 17 and Goku, having to wrap his Galactic Space Patrol tape all over the ship and whatever, and just capturing all the space poachers. But the one thing I also want to talk about in this episode was the idea that 17 was able to combat every Space Invader on his own with little to no problem. And the reason why that's important is because you have to look at how strong 17 has become ever since Dragon Ball Z, in which he does know about the events of the Genki Dama, of Kid Buu, and this entire time he's been fighting to protect the forest, in which 17 as an artificial human doesn't really have any stamina, probably has a lot of ki because of the fact that he's once an android, and I do think that ki stability is going to be very important here. So I think that 17 is definitely going to go into this tournament very, very powerful. But the one thing that kind of threw me off guard was when they mentioned the whole explosion thing and 17 having to be in space. Maybe that was one of the reasons why, as to 17 can't survive in space. Maybe he can survive the explosion, but not the vacuums of space. But either way, next week's episode showcases Gohan and Piccolo, and the one reason why I feel as if this is very important is because both Piccolo and Gohan have not been prominently shown in Dragon Ball Super. Piccolo has been heavily underused, Gohan has been heavily underused, and now next week, we're gonna have ourselves an all-out battle involving both Gohan and Piccolo. And one of the reasons why this is so important is because both of them are going to get stronger, and both of them having to push each other to become better as they further approach the Tournament of Power, in which now we understand, based on what's happening, the Tournament of Power is a little under 30 hours away, in which everyone now has approximately about a day to actually get everyone together, in which we do know, based on the Dragon Ball Super spoilers, that the next episode after Gohan and Piccolo is going to involve Tien Shinhan and of course Master Roshi. So after that, everyone's going to get together, with several people having to be missing. Now, Beerus did have a dream in this episode in which I didn't really think held too much weight, but it could foreshadow the idea that Goku may be defeated at some point and or maybe killed off at some given point during this tournament, and that's the one thing that Beerus does not want to encounter and or see, because that's Beerus's top fighter. Even though what he saw was the spaceship blowing up and Goku dying, could this possibly be some sort of a bad omen to come, that Goku is going to fail Beerus at the Tournament of Power? Who's to really say for sure? As he woke up, I mean, he was just all sweaty, he was just so shocked on the idea that Goku Goku was dead because he's relying on him, but overall, this episode established the foundation of having 17 team up with Goku to finally work together. And having to go into next week's episode, I also firmly believe that next week's episode is going to showcase Ultimate Gohan just for a couple of reasons. Number one, when we see Gohan in his Super Saiyan form, he does not have that one strand of hair coming down, but then even after while he has his black hair, we see one strand of hair come down. And in case many people don't know, that was never prominently featured within the Zen exhibition. Even though Goku and Gohan were there and Gohan did become a Super Saiyan, we never saw Gohan hit his ultimate powers, not until this very point. So this could be the very moment to where Gohan is going to be pushed to unlock more power. No, he's not going to have Super Saiyan White. He's not going to have any crazy Super Saiyan Rage, Super Saiyan Blue form, although it is possible for Shueisha, Toriyama, Toei Animation to establish this and give Gohan that opportunity to ascend past his ultimate powers. As of right now, I don't think that's going to happen, nor do I believe we have any sort of evidence to support this. So in case you guys see any rumors out there of Super Saiyan White, Super Saiyan Silver, Super Saiyan Blue, Super Saiyan Rage, that information is false, because based on the narrative so far, Gohan will only stick to his ultimate powers and his ultimate powers only. But post your comments down below, guys. What did you guys think of Gohan having to fight Piccolo? What are your overall thoughts on this episode, having to reference Boo and 17 knowing who Boo is, and having to see what 17 wants to use with the Dragon Balls? Personally, I enjoyed the fact that 17 revealed as to what he wants to use the Dragon Balls for, and alongside that, even having to mention the fact that 17 was still around during the time where they needed to create the Genki Dama, the Spirit Bomb, to defeat Kid Buu during that time. It was pretty good to see, and I want to know your overall thoughts on Gohan versus Piccolo. Thank you all for watching once again. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to go on ahead and hit that subscribe button, guys, for all the latest Dragon Ball news, information, and updates. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to go on ahead and slap a like down below, as it greatly supports the channel. It really means a lot to me. If you guys want to go on ahead and talk Dragon Ball with me, you guys can go on ahead and simply join my Discord, as we always have Dragon Ball discussions on there, alongside prediction videos and many other things. Thank you all for watching, guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful night, and I'll be seeing you all in the prediction video. Take it easy, guys. Peace.